the civil rights movement, a time of struggle, courage, and change. We often think of the 1950s and 1960s. We picture marches and protests, but the fight for equality started long before. It's a story often hidden, a story we must uncover. This is the story of everyday people. People fighting for basic rights, rights like owning land, voting, and living with dignity. Their stories are powerful. They remind us that freedom is not free. This essay explores the hidden history of civil rights. We'll travel back to the 1800s. We'll meet the unsung heroes. We'll see how the fight for equality unfolded over generations. Join me as we uncover the forgotten chapters of the civil rights movement. It's a journey that will inspire you. It's a journey that will challenge you. It's a journey that will stay with you long after you finish reading. The Civil Rights Act of 1866. A landmark moment. It promised equal rights for all citizens. But the fight was far from over. Black Americans faced discrimination and violence. They were denied basic rights. In the late 1800s, Jackson and Louisa Holcomb lived in Virginia. They were determined to build a better life. They bought land, paid taxes, and even donated land for a church. Their story shows the resilience of Black Americans. But the Holcombs also faced challenges. They had to navigate a system designed to hold them back. They had to fight for their right to own property and live in peace. Their story is a reminder that freedom is a constant struggle. The early struggles for civil rights laid the groundwork for future generations. They showed the power of perseverance. They showed that change is possible. But the fight was far from over. The civil rights movement is often portrayed as a fight against oppression. And while resistance was crucial, it's only part of the story. Black Americans also engaged with the legal system in everyday life. They used the law to protect their families, businesses, and property. They filed lawsuits, wrote wills, and negotiated contracts. This showed their agency and resourcefulness. They refused to be defined solely by their struggles. Take the Holcomb family, for example. They meticulously documented their land ownership. They kept deeds, tax receipts, and other legal papers. These documents weren't just about property, they were about legacy. They were about building a future for their children. By engaging with the law, Black Americans challenged the system from within. They showed that they were not just victims. They were active participants in shaping their own destinies. The fight for equality didn't end with the Civil War or the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It continued for decades. This period, from the 1930s to the 1980s, is often overlooked. But it's crucial to understanding the full scope of the movement. This era saw grassroots organizing, legal battles, and political activism. Black Americans challenged segregation, discrimination, and economic inequality. They fought for voting rights, fair housing, and equal access to education. This period also saw the rise of new leaders and organizations. Groups like the NAACP, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee played vital roles. They mobilized communities, challenged unjust laws, and demanded change. The long civil rights movement was a testament to the enduring power of hope and determination. It showed that the fight for equality is a marathon, not a sprint, and it's a fight that continues to this day. Section 5, Unsung Heroes of the Coast, Stories from Coastal Georgia, a region rich in history and culture. It's also a place where the fight for civil rights unfolded in unique ways. Here we meet unsung heroes who challenged injustice and paved the way for a better future. Susie King Taylor, an educator who taught enslaved people to read and write. She continued her work after emancipation, advocating for education and equality. Her story shows the power of knowledge as a tool for liberation. Tunis G. Campbell, a formerly enslaved man who became a state senator and fought for land ownership for Black families. He helped establish a Black Landowners Association, empowering communities to build economic independence. These stories from coastal Georgia remind us that the civil rights movement was not confined to major cities. It touched every corner of America, and it was driven by ordinary people who refused to accept the status quo. Section 6, The Power of the Pen. Robert Sangstaka Abbott and the Chicago Defender. Words have power. They can inform, inspire, and ignite change. Robert Sangstaka Abbott understood this power. In 1905, he founded a newspaper that would become a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. Gave a voice to Black Americans, it reported on their struggles, celebrated their achievements, and exposed injustices. It also played a crucial role in the Great Migration, encouraging black Southerners to seek better opportunities in the North. Abbott used his platform to challenge segregation, discrimination, and violence. He called for equal rights and urged black Americans to fight for their rightful place in society. His words resonated with millions. Robert Sengstacka Abbott's legacy is a testament to the power of journalism. He showed that the pen can be mightier than the sword, and he used his voice to fight for a more just and equitable world. Section 7. Remembering the Unthinkable, Ebo Landing and the Weeping Time. The history of the civil rights movement is not always one of triumph and progress. It is a complex tapestry woven with threads of both victory and defeat, hope and despair. It's also a history of pain, suffering, and unimaginable cruelty. The echoes of these dark times still resonate today, reminding us of the long road to justice. We must remember these dark chapters to understand the full weight of the struggle. Ebo Landing is one such chapter, a site in coastal Georgia where a group of enslaved Africans chose death over slavery. Their courage and tragic choice have left an indelible mark on history. They walked into the water, drowning themselves rather than submitting to a life of bondage. This act of defiance speaks volumes about the human spirit's yearning for freedom. Their story is a testament to the human spirit's indomitable will to be free. The Weeping Time is another harrowing chapter. In 1859, over 400 enslaved people were sold in a massive auction in Savannah, Georgia. This event was one of the largest sales of human beings in the history of the United States. Families were torn apart, and men, women, and children were sold to the highest bidder. The anguish and sorrow of that day earned it the name the Weeping Time. The event, known as the Weeping Time, stands as a stark reminder of slavery's brutality. It is a painful chapter that underscores the inhumanity of the slave trade. These stories are difficult to confront. They force us to face the darkest aspects of our history. But they are essential to understanding the depths of human cruelty and the importance of fighting for justice. By remembering, we honor those who suffered and ensure their stories are not forgotten. We must remember these events to honor the victims and ensure that such atrocities never happen again. It is through remembrance that we find the strength to build a more just and equitable future. Section 8. Unearthing the Hidden History, Dylan C. Penningroth's Before the Movement. The hidden history of the civil rights movement is slowly being uncovered, revealing stories that have long been overlooked or forgotten. Scholars, activists, and everyday people are working tirelessly to bring these stories to light, ensuring that the full narrative is told. One such dedicated scholar is Dylan C. Penningroth. In his groundbreaking book, Penningroth delves deeply into the legal history of Black America. He meticulously shows how Black Americans used the law to navigate and resist a system designed to oppress them. By challenging traditional narratives, Penningroth offers a fresh and insightful perspective on the fight for equality. Penningroth's work reminds us that the civil rights movement was not just about marches and protests, but also about the everyday struggles. It was also about everyday people fighting for their rights in courtrooms, government offices, and their own communities, often in ways that were less visible but equally important. His book is a crucial resource for anyone who wants to understand the full scope of the civil rights movement. It's a powerful reminder that the fight for equality is ongoing and that we must continue to learn from the past to create a more just future for all. Section 9. A Call to Remember, Keeping the Legacy Alive. The hidden history of the civil rights movement is a story of courage, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of justice. It is a narrative woven with the threads of countless brave souls who stood up against oppression and demanded their rightful place in society. It's a story that deserves to be told and remembered, not just as a chapter in history, but as a living testament to the power of collective action and unwavering determination. As we've seen, the fight for equality was a long and arduous journey, marked by both heartbreaking setbacks and inspiring victories. It involved countless individuals, organizations, and events, each contributing in their own way to the larger cause. And it took place not just in the streets, but also in courtrooms, classrooms, and homes across America, where everyday people made extraordinary sacrifices. It's our responsibility to keep this legacy alive, to ensure that the stories of these heroes are passed down to future generations. We must learn from the past, celebrate the achievements of those who came before us, and continue the fight for a more just and equitable society. This means not only remembering their victories but also understanding the struggles they faced. Let us honor the sacrifices of those who fought for civil rights by carrying the torch forward, ensuring that their efforts were not in vain. Let us never forget their struggles, their triumphs, and their unwavering belief in the power of equality. Their legacy is a beacon of hope and a call to action for all of us. The fight is far from over, but by working together we can create a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, where justice and equality are not just ideals but realities for all.